Hello everyone, welcome to the Daily Nature Journal. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to draw a little blue tip. And I'm going to be positioning him right here. This is a shortened version of a paint-along tutorial that's up on my Patreon. So if you're interested in learning the full process of how to draw this little bird, all the materials you need and the techniques I like to follow, then you can find that on my Patreon. Now in today's video for colouring I'm going to be using two different botanical inks. I'm going to be using my own gorse ink and an indigo ink. I'm also going to be using my Derwent Inktense pan set. So these are pan inks very much like watercolour but much more vibrant in colour, and they dry permanent so I can keep on layering over and over the top. Okay. So we're going to start with the shape of the bird, which want to try and get everything in the right sort of proportion. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. There's no need at this stage to draw in every single feather, but what we do need to do is make sure that everything in general is positioned in the right place. And then we've got the legs, it's like they've got little bloomers on. You can see the fluffy feathers around the leg stems. Now, importantly, we need to get the angle of the legs right. And the back leg is very easy, it's going straight down and it's hidden naturally behind the foot of the front leg. This front leg is at a quite interesting angle. And the bird is sort of using this foot to grip onto here. So done with the pencil, I'm now going to go in with my lightest marker. So I'm using my Derwent Line Maker 0.1 and I'm just going to go over the whole bird, and then I'm going to thicken up some places and darken up some places later. When I'm doing a more detailed drawing, I prefer to make this sort of approach. And this isn't my very thinnest marker, this is the middle size, as I'll save the thinnest one to do finer details in a moment. Now when you're doing the outer line, look closely and see which areas are smooth and which areas have a few little sticky out feathers. So that's me done with my 0.1 marker. I'm now going to go for the smaller, finer marker, the 0.03. And with this I'm going to go over areas where I didn't want to put too much of a thick, strong line. For example, this blue cap at the top of the bird's head. Now this is the perfect stage to remove the pencil lines, so before using the very thickest marker, I'm going to take these lines out. So now I'm coming with my 0.3 slightly darker liner, and I want to bring out now the darkest areas of the bird. So on my palette I've got some lovely indigo ink, and that's going to work perfectly for these darker blues on the bird. Now you see that once you put the darker colours, the line starts to disappear. And I really like this style because then you can get areas where the line is showing and areas where it's not. So you see I'm using the same colour everywhere where it appears, and this is going to speed you up. So I look at the picture, I look to see where I can use the indigo colour, and then I put it in all of those places, leaving gaps for where I want another colour to come in as well. I quite like to work limiting my palette. I don't want to use tons of different colours on this. I'll use a few. Some of them I will mix a little bit, but sometimes it's nice to just layer colours over the top and let them mix on the drawing. Now also, while I'm down here, I'm working a little bit into the log while I wait for the indigo on the bird to dry. That's another way to speed up, is while one area is drying, work on another area of your picture. Right, now while I'm waiting for the log part to dry, I can get on with the next bit of the bird itself. So I'm going to mix a lovely bright blue, and I'm doing that with my Derwent Inktense set. And I am always looking at how I can speed up. That's what I'm interested in. How am I going to get faster? How am I going to be able to improve my speed so I could do this outdoors? One of the best ways to do that is to know your colour set very, very well. So you're familiar with those colours, you can mix them quickly. If you're not familiar with them, it's a lot harder to, you're spending more time learning what happens when you mix rather than actually doing the mixing quickly. So build that familiarity with the set that you're using. Now again, I'm going to find everywhere in this picture where I can use that colour again. I'm just going to put some of the green off the log. There's all this moss growing on it. And then we've also got this green up here on the back of the bird as well. So what we're doing here is by putting these light colours on, when we put the bright yellow, it's going to show through. So then you get the shading. So putting in the sort of the tones that you can see first before your bright yellow goes on, it saves having to then shade over the top. You've kind of already done that stage. You see how the colours, they kind of build. If you keep on, you mix something, you use it everywhere in the picture that you can see it, you eventually build the whole picture out at once rather than having to just do one bit, then move on to the next bit, then move on to the next bit. So we're almost there now at this point, we've almost done it. Now the magic is going to happen by putting on this yellow. I want to leave areas where I can see white. You see what happens if you leave areas, so you've got the areas of the shading that you've put in with the green and the blue, and areas that have been left on the background colour. Now just a couple of little dark areas. I'm using Payne's grey and a little bit of black. Now finally, just putting a little bit of white in. Because I have a stained background, I have to use this pen to bring it back to white. So I hope you enjoyed that quick look at how I go about drawing birds in the journal. As I mentioned at the start of the video, this is available as a real-time tutorial on Patreon. I'd love to hear any feedback in the comments. I'd love to hear anything about how you go about drawing birds. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.